Hey, welcome to our guide on configuring the Telos VX Duo on-air phone system. I'm Kirk Harnack, your host for these configuration videos. This video is the next step after our quick setup guide, and that's where we set the IP addresses for the two network interfaces. There's the WAN network interface, where most installations are going to access their SIP PBX, either locally or in the cloud. And there's also the AoIP interface to communicate with Livewire or AES67. If you haven't watched that video yet, please take a pause now and have a look at our quick setup guide video. The VX Duo is built to connect SIP phone extensions from a PBX to your broadcast audio system. Today, we'll cover the key steps for successful VX Duo configuration. That's SIP registration, AoIP audio setup, creating shows, attaching VSET controllers, and adjusting the built-in features that make calls sound their best. We'll also flag potential speed bumps, but we're mostly going to keep our discussion high level. We're assuming you know already something about SIP telephony, about audio over IP, and broadcast workflow in general. If you need additional details, well, they're in the VX system manual. With that, let's get started. Prerequisites. Two things you absolutely need. Number one, generic SIP extensions from a SIP PBX, either cloud-hosted or on-site. The VX Duo registers as endpoints. It's not a PBX itself, so it looks like desk phones to a PBX. You also need a proper AoIP, audio over IP network, either Livewire or AES67, with a qualified switch and a clock source. Now, this network carries caller audio out, mix-minus back into the VX, and it supplies program on hold to the callers who are on hold. If you have Axia audio consoles or another brand of networked console that uses either Livewire or AES67, then you may not need any other audio interface devices. If you need to interface the caller audio with outboard analog equipment, like an analog audio console or analog ins and outs on an intercom system, then you'll need one or more audio interfaces, such as a Telos Alliance X-Node 2. Registering SIP connections. One prerequisite is already having generic SIP extensions from a SIP PBX. Now, this SIP PBX can be either on-site or cloud-hosted, and the VX Duo can register to extensions from more than one SIP PBX at a time. So keep that in mind if you'd like some redundancy or some flexibility to route calls from, let's say, your business phone system into the VX Duo. The VX Duo is not itself a PBX. The VX Duo is what we call a SIP endpoint. It's actually a whole bunch of SIP endpoints in one box. So once you've arranged for extensions and registration credentials on your SIP PBX, log into the VX Duo's web interface. Now, you're going to want to use the audio over IP address to get into the web interface on the VX Duo. The username is user, and there's no password by default. Now, go to the SIP page. Add your PBX as a server. Enter its IP or domain name. Note that many SIP PBX systems don't require all of the available information fields you see here to be filled out. Check with your PBX administrator to determine the minimum information needed. We found that it works best to enter just the minimum information required by your PBX. And speaking of, you can add a second PBX if you like. Here I'm adding one for our on-site business PBX so we can take or transfer calls from the business side of things. Give it a friendly name. Then add each extension to the VX Duo. The extension number, the auth user, which is usually the same as the extension number, and the password. In the telephony world, this is often called the secret. And check Register. And when you're finished, go ahead and click Apply, and those will be saved with that particular PBX. There are many SIP providers from which to choose, but one of them that we work with is called Clearly IP, and they have a service called Clearly Cloud. We also have a help doc on the Telos Alliance support website that shows you how to set up Clearly Cloud and how to set up your Telos VX to work with Clearly Cloud. A good solution for SIP telephony with support from both Clearly IP and from Telos. Configuring AoIP audio in and out. All the audio in the VX Duo is audio over IP. So let's go to the Studios page and define a studio. Click Add New and give it the studio name you like, whatever that may be. And then a little farther to the right, look where it says Selectable Channels. This is where you're going to type in the number of hybrids you're dedicating to that studio. And in this case, it's going to be 1. Then we click Apply at the bottom of the page, and when the page refreshes, what we see is this. Now the number of selectable channels is on this web page. We click Enable, and here's the channel number of the hybrid audio that's going to go from the VX Duo to the network. I'm going to make it 1501. It's the first output of this hybrid that is at .15 on the network. Also, program on hold, I'm going to receive it from channel 1201 from the source, from the audio console in this studio. So I'll have my program on hold source. And then we'll click Apply. The page will update and properly show us the definition of that studio. Grouping lines into shows. Now, let's turn those SIP extensions into lines and build a show. We'll start here in the show configuration by adding a show and give it a name, whatever we like. How about Morning Zoo? And let's define how many lines will be active in our show. Let's say 4 lines. 3 will be a hunt group and 1 will be a VIP line. So we'll name these lines. 1 through 3 are going to be like Zoo 1 through Zoo 3. I give it the extension number, and in this case, to make a hunt group, we're going to use the same extension number 3 times. And I choose the server from which it comes, because I did define 2 servers on this machine. So here's Zoo 2, and coming up here's Zoo 3. Again, same extension, 901, and same server. There we go. Now, my 4th line is going to be, I'm going to make that a VIP line, and that's for use, even if the first 3 are full, someone could still call in if I gave them the number. I'll have the routing done in the PBX, and I'm going to take it out of the busy all group, so I can busy all the lines and not busy out the VIP line. Note that shows are portable. You can move any show to any studio in just a few seconds, and you do this using menu selections on a VSET. Configuring VSET controllers. VSET 6 or VSET 12 may be connected to either of your IP networks. That is your business network or wherever the WAN connection is from the Telos VX Duo, or to the AoIP network. Now you'll need to supply power over Ethernet, PoE, to any VSET that you connect. This is very standard 48-volt PoE. You can use an Ethernet switch that provides PoE, or you can use a separate PoE injector to power a VSET. If you connect the VSET to the AoIP Livewire network, well, no extra configuration is needed in the VX Duo. It's ready to receive commands and recognize VSETs connected to the audio over IP network. However, if you connect the VSET to the WAN network, you'll need to go to the main config page on the VX Duo, and you'll need to enable LWCP on WAN. The default port for that is 2518. Just leave it unless you have a specific reason to change it. This doesn't go outside of your network. This is just for VSETs to have access into the VX Duo over the WAN network. Each VSET will need its own IP address, appropriate for the network to which you've connected it. To set each VSET's network configuration, touch the menu button, then push and hold the setup button for about 5 seconds. If you simply touch the setup button, the screen will show the current settings, but they can't be modified. Pushing and holding the setup selection button for about 5 seconds will show the current configuration and allow modification of the fields. You'll see the field for IP address and subnet mask. Once the VSET is properly on the network with a good IP address, let's go into the engine setup and assign the IP address where this VSET will find the VX engine. Once the VSET and the VX engine are seeing each other, now you can go to Select Studio and choose your studio. There's the one we defined, and there's the lines already there. The VX Duo has 5th generation hybrids with smart AGC, digital dynamic EQ, 3-band adaptive spectral processing, and noise gating. Caller audio sounds great and consistent every time. You can customize ringtones and DTMF tones on the Tones page. Most people never have any need for this, but if you want to experiment with it, you can. Finally, security. Well, please change the default password, back up your configuration, and if you expose the WAN port to the internet, keep it behind a proper firewall. That's the VX Duo configuration, including SIP registration, AoIP channels, shows, VSETs, and the built-in audio magic. Test everything, make some calls, check levels, verify block all, and next work as expected for taking phone calls or blocking them. Full details are in the manual, and the link is in the description. You have questions? Well, Telos support is available 24/7 at support@telosalliance.com. And for instant answers to the most common questions, go to support.telosalliance.com. Thanks for watching. Now, let's go make some great radio.